Good morning.
I'm pretty sure it's afternoon.
Oh, shit.
We would have to have put this up in the morning.
This would have to be live.
Live.
But it's
sorry,
not.
my mic wasn't on.
Hola.
Oh, that's lovely.
That was a Fran Drescher laugh,
That was
wasn't
a
it?
Fran Drescher
Have
laugh.
you been following Fran Drescher on Instagram lately?
God,
She's
no.
all over it. Hey.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's why I don't go on Instagram, because every time I go on there, it's fucking Fran Drescher.
Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
Yeah, no, don't need any of that in my life. What else is on Instagram that I should know about? What am I missing out on?
Give
Give me the tea.
you the tea on what's
Yeah.
happening on Instagram. I don't bloody know.
Yeah.
Man, I waste so much time on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm halfway through the social dilemma.
Oh, fuck.
but
That
I mean-
really ruined me.
Yeah, I've like it's only sort of confirming, I guess, what I've sort of suspected all along. But yeah, I just unfollowed everything and turned like the AFL and the Collingwood pages on mute, even though I followed them. I don't want them in my feed. I don't need their shit.
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I just
If you want to know, you'll ask.
if I want to know, I'll go look it up in the dictionary, like my father told me. If I don't know something, go look it up.
Yeah, that's actually so true.
It's funny how that one came back around. I hated it at the time, but now I'm like,
What's way easier now to check a word in the dictionary because
Yeah.
it's online.
yeah, and also there's like predictive text, so if you get it close, whereas if you don't know how to spell the word in the first place, and your dad's like, go look it up in the dictionary, you're like, people, where do I start?
But yeah,
Like,
what?
does that word start with a P or a D?
I barely know
don't
the alphabet yet.
Yeah. What? Silent letters? No.
Sorry?
That doesn't help. Pseudonym? How am I looking up under P in the dictionary and not S? Come on. What's going on here? Psalms? All the different words that have silent Ps. What
Dad
are
was
you
pretty
doing?
good like that. He would also always use the street directory. Even
what was it
why
called?
does he refuse to use Google Maps?
Because he thinks he knows better.
Yeah, okay. I get a bit, you know how, okay, so I'm a big fan of Waze, the app.
Yeah,
As an
great-
Uber
great
driver, I think Waze is the way to go because it updates your live traffic and it gives you the fastest route at any given time. Why do people challenge that as if they think they know better? You know what I mean? Why is it like, oh, no, I'll go this way. That's wrong. It's like, nah, sorry. Can we just admit that there's some piece of technology out there that knows a little bit more than you do?
This is a. If you followed us at the end of last episode when Pearl said that she doesn't like certain technologies getting in the way, and now she's pro certain technology.
Whoa.
Now I'm just joking here, just having a bit of fun, just poking the bear.
Yeah, poke holes in my logic, please.
But the way.
Are we referring to the baby blanket
Yeah, let's
thing?
not bring it up again. but and the would you rather smoke or die? So yeah, that's Waze is brilliant. I think it is outstanding to be that clever, and it's just knowing backstreets. The thing about Sydney is, and the thing about traveling anywhere in the world is, nothing ever stays the same. It's a good thing for life to remember as well. You've got to embrace change because a two-way street can very easily become a one-way street without you knowing, because the council will just fucking pull the rug underneath your feet. You've got to be adaptable. And if you're not using an app which is constantly using satellite technology to tell you, hey, there's a faster way, what are you really doing in life?
This is
What's wrong
technology
with
I
you?
support.
You've got to embrace the good part of it and make sure you don't lean in too heavily to the dark part of it. Because technology's brilliant and the internet's brilliant, but it's a 50-50 and it can be very deceptive.
Yeah, you got to
very
adapt.
misleading.
And opinions change.
They do. And you're going to find out in life that you'll end up contradicting yourself more often than you're not. So much. And to different people, you sell different stories too.
Yeah, totally.
And how those stories change and digress, and the different bits of polish that they get based on how you tell them at any different time can definitely dictate how it ends up to hearing. Do you know how one of my favorite stories is there? I'll just play it like safe by saying there was a venue that we were at. We were all watching a friend play a big show, and we were on the balcony. We were having a great time, and out of nowhere, some guys just decided to pick a fight with us, and we were just like absolutely like couldn't believe that it like a sold out show. Everyone's just trying to have a good time. That someone would just.
What show was it?
It was one of Tom's.
Golden Features.
Yeah, at the Metro.
Oh, yeah, cool.
But anyway. To
What
kind of
was
tie
the
this all
fight
in.
about?
They were just dickheads. They were just dickheads.
Yeah.
But because we were with who we were with, security were with us. So we were like, yeah, security, these guys. And they got kicked out. So they didn't even get to see the show. But the point is, is this story has been retold. There was a punch thrown, and then there was a little bit of a scuffle after that. Not too much more happened. However, I have heard every person that was there retell this story 10 times. And I'm telling you, by the end of it, there was a ruckin' mall. There were fucking people getting dropped left, right, and center. And somehow
know.
7 of us had black eyes that I'm telling you we didn't have. So,
Yeah.
like, just, time
all
and
have a
the
different
evolution
story.
and how you remember something and the delusion of not remembering who you were at that time. Like, Facebook memories and all those things that pop up and go, you were this person 3 years ago. And you're like, I hate that person. The person's such a loser. And you're like, no, that's just part of your growth.
All part of the rich tapestry that makes you you.
Did you hear that? That
Girl.
was well executed.
Yeah,
nuns.
I don't like teenage me. Oh, but I appreciate. Okay,
You gotta appreciate
I've
it.
had some pretty awful experiences. But I was saying the other day to someone when they were like, "Oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry that happened to you." I'm like, I'm not really, because I wouldn't be the person I am now if I hadn't had those experiences. And I really like the person I am now.
Yeah. No, sometimes you have to learn things the hard way.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah. And that's
Test
another
of strength.
Test of strength, test of character, test of all sorts of things. And I think we spoke the other day about flooring the ego and
Yeah.
leveling the ego and having those being put in your place
It's like
kind of
pride
moments.
as well. It's like, just be happy to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah, it's so fine to accept being wrong. And one of my favorite things is like when you're having a conversation with someone, or someone says something and you remember that they said it and maybe you didn't agree with it at the time, but it turned out to be right. I always try to make a point to be like, hey, remember when you said that? Man, you were so right about that. Or just being like, hey, that's a good point, actually. Like, I didn't think of it like that. Well said. Like, yeah, that's actually giving me a lot to think about. Instead of being like, no, that's not fucking true. There's no way that could be right.
Double
be
down on it.
humble.
Yeah.
Be humble
We
at
have
times
like
when you don't know.
We're
learn.
in my friendship group at the moment, because
The dynamic.
the dynamic, right?
Is there a shift?
Yeah, well, there has been a shift, but there's been a real, we don't sweep things under the rug anymore. I feel like we've had a few huge things that have really rocked the core of the group, right? And it hasn't necessarily torn us apart, but it's made us change our attitude and go, actually, you know what? It's okay if you screw up. You just got to own it. And if you don't, then we're going to have a problem with you. We don't have a problem with you screwing up or doing something wrong, as long as you can acknowledge it, own it, wear it, and then learn from it
Be stronger.
and be better.
Yeah.
Just be better.
Better. At the end of the day. That was one of my favorite Spotify emails was like, marketing tips guaranteed to get your songs played more. And I was like, all right, well, that's
Great.
a decent headline.
Hit me.
I'll open that one. And I remember reading through it, and it started from like 10 to 1, and it went all the way down, and I was like, I was like, oh, okay, that's a bit interesting. But by the time I got to the one rule to fucking having like better like plays and stuff, it was just, if you read it the way it was like read, you could be inspired, but at the same time, it pretty much just said, write better music.
And
I was
also-
like, thanks.
Yeah, well, you've touched on something
be
quite
better.
interesting here.
You're like, what do you mean, cunt? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Ah.
What do you mean? Be better? Like,
Yeah.
that's just them being like, thanks for using our service. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Thanks,
Like,
nothing.
Let the door smack you on the way out.
You've touched on something quite interesting here in terms of the music industry, because I was reading an article that was written by the CEO of Spotify, and it essentially said that if you want to make more, because the way Spotify is structured, the artists don't get paid anywhere near as much as they would have when people would buy songs.
Merchandise and CD sales.
When people strictly just buying
Purchase music, yeah.
over streaming, right?
Right, yeah.
And the CEO's response to that wasn't like, oh, we're going to fix this, that's a genuine issue that we want to fix. His response was, make more music. That's all well and good, but making music costs money, dude. And when you're not being paid sufficiently for the one song you've already put up, where is this money coming from? Sorry. I get it. We're adapting. We're adapting though. We're adapting. We have to adapt. But just that kind of mentality is like, or just, sufficiently pay the artists that are the reason this streaming platform even exists in the first place. there is like a little bit of an annoying thing though, is kind of the label's fault as well, because say for instance, all those deals of all those old school rock bands from like the 70s and 80s whose deals have like kind of ceased to exist anymore, or didn't include streaming because streaming
Didn't
like
exist at
rules
the
because
time,
streaming
was a
didn't
possibility.
exist,
Yep.
meant that the labels sold
catalogs.
the biggest bands in the world sold their back catalogs for shit all, which meant that the artists now are working for shit all. Like,
Right.
so it's like, cool, thanks guys. Like
Yeah.
you screwed everyone here.
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah.
But also they screwed themselves. The labels.
Well, look.
Nah.
Yep. Yeppity yep. Look, Copy. I feel where you are coming from as a frustrated artist.
Yeah, but like I'm all right with it because I do just put my head down, make more music, and figure out more ways to make money. I'm actually okay with it. It's just how it is. The one thing that we do in the industry is that we adapt very well. The music industry changes all the time, and the people who get left behind are the ones that have problems with it. Just because I can see the problems doesn't mean I'm not doing the work and making it work.
Yeah.
So my frustration
I understand
is-
you understand the barrier, you understand the confrontation, but you're still doing the things to work through it, even though you might not appreciate it.
Yeah.
Tough love, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just how it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's life, baby.
That's suck it up. Well, the other thing that I will say though, based on watching that kind of like Social Dilemma and kind of talking about the monetization of it all, is you're not the customer. Unless you're paying for it full time, because then you've got to deal with all the advertising. You're essentially the brand, the brand selling the advertising space is the customer. You're the opportunity.
Well, we are. Yeah, we fund.
You're the opportunity.
We're paying. Yeah.
You're the one who's
yeah.
gonna-
They're making money off us.
Yeah. So
Because we're the ones spending the money on the market. Yeah.
If you're a person consuming music, the deal is great.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They're not thinking necessarily about those people.
No, they're not thinking about the artists. They're thinking about the
They're
consumers.
servicing a product. And you don't have to love the product, but you can still have one. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But look, at the same time, there are probably examples out there of artists that do things independently and have different platforms.
And
You don't
sorry,
have to, look,
Let me just say, like, there's a lot of pros as well with streaming services, because it means that as the artist, we know where our audience is now. You know, we have all
it's
the
up to you
statistics
to use that data and back-end information.
Exactly. We have all this information now that we never had access to before, and all this freedom to be independent because...
But having said that, you still need to have some sort of education that understands that
And you
in terms
need
of like
money.
data analysis. And it's difficult to reinvest in yourself if you're not seeing a return coming in as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I think most artists would happily reinvest in themselves with whether it's a marketing campaign, getting something mixed and mastered, whatever it might be, that ultimately lends towards Spotify getting the streams at the end of the day. But you're sort of saying there should be a little bit more of a give. And I think I don't know, just it's one of those things where if you're not ahead of the trend, you're just going to get left behind.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I'd hate to be one of those people that's like, damn you.
Yeah, old man shakes fist at sky.
Yeah, nah.
And the thing is like the next generation is always going to be better, and then the next generation is always going to be better, but there's going to be so many more of them that they're going to have to fight even harder. So lived in a great period of understanding pre and during.
Yeah.
Not necessarily post, because we don't know what the end
What's
game
gonna
is
happen.
like yet. And that's the other thing I'd like to throw out there as well. These services, having said that about sort of maybe bands that were big in the 60s and 70s not having rights to their pubs and masters because, say, the deal expired after 20 years, so from the 90s onwards, they don't have collection rights or whatever. There is still an opportunity, say, for instance, the Bag Raiders or, for instance... I thought I had it all together. Breakbot.
Mm-hmm.
Of those songs getting picked up by TikTok or an NFL ad, and these acts that are now 10
Yeah.
years old becoming even more relevant now than they might have been back there and getting
Yeah.
that opportunity. So I think what it comes down to is this, is life presents you with moments and opportunities. You've just got to be best prepared and ready to take them. That's how you'll maximize it.
Yeah, TikTok's a whole interesting thing as well.
There's a whole little fascination there too, really.
Yeah, I was listening to Miley Cyrus talk about TikTok on the Joe Rogan podcast the other day about how like the labels kind of like pay TikTok artists to promote music so it goes viral.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. There's a whole market for that. That's why I was saying to you the other day when we were talking about distributing your own music, and the main argument between DistroKid and what's TuneCore
Oh, TuneCore.
was that DistroKid pitch to TikTok.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other services don't have that. And
Yeah.
in this day and time, wouldn't you rather have a capability of that versus not have a capability
Totally.
but be paying a higher price? So there's
Yeah.
you know, as the artist again, you know, it would be a really good subject. I don't know how long we've been talking to, 15 minutes. A really good subject I'd like to delve into one day is the idea of having a manager versus not having a manager, and at what
Yeah.
point in your career you will actually need a manager versus what point you don't need a manager.
Yeah. I have had a lot of debates about this with my production partner.
It's a great one. It's
Yeah.
a really good one because there's pros and cons to both of it, and there's definitely opportunities for both parties to thrive in both things. But there's just things to look out for, and
Yeah.
and there's levels of
Was things that you need
quality of
in order
work.
to be a manager. I don't think you can just like wake up one day and be like, I'm going to manage you, Kyra.
Look, there's a great movie out there, I'm sure. There's a fantastic autobiography, I'm sure, about that one person who had zero experience and just heard someone singing and was like, I'm going to make you a superstar.
But they're the exception,
They're the exception.
not the rule.
Not the rule. So, you know, I think that'd be a great topic to delve
Yeah, maybe we
into
should
one
go
day
into that.
about how that all could unfold, because again, it's not as black and white and sort of cut and paste as it
What's
might
funny, 'cause, like,
appear to be.
My production partner will be like, no, you know, if we want to do this right, let's get a manager. We need to get a manager. And then my girlfriend, who's literally just signed this like global deal with Warner, is like, you don't need a manager. But you know, that's just like, it's the grass is always greener. Like, you know what I mean?
See, you need someone to read a contract, but if that person isn't
No, but
necessarily
the manager's important
Sorry.
to getting the deal representing the artist.
well,
Sorry.
you just
I cut you
just
off.
stole my thunder.
Sorry.
Oh fuck!
Thunder. I'm so sorry.
Lightning.
Do you forgive me?
Lightning.
You better knock.
I would.
Baby. Ooh, baby.
Jeez, that could go on for a while. Hey, do you want to just start a fucking a cappella duo? Let's quit
Acapella.
all this shit and just go straight out. I'll learn how to beatbox better.
I'll try and do that thing with the cups. You know how they keep the beat with the
All
cups?
the rhythm with the cups. Or
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
pens and stuff. Shit.
Yeah, we could
That's
make
talent.
this a thing.
That's
yeah.
raw. I don't think we've got the glass table is probably not ideal for
We'll probably need some cups.
clinking. Gonna need some cups. Specifically red ones, red party cups, so we could play table tennis,
Play a bit of beer pong after.
afterwards.
I
Hey,
don't know. It's
I'm Cairo.
pal. That was such a funny one.
This was episode 25, quarter cinch of the Pretty Cast. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.